It's Corey George here again from Canada First. Wanted to give you guys a segment dedicated to reinforcing your home on a DIY basis. So how to do it yourself, the tiny steps that you can take without spending a lot of money that's gonna make your house harder to break into. Right now we're gonna be talking about door frames and door screws. It's gonna seem really simple. It's gonna seem probably a little trivial, but I promise you it makes a huge difference. This door is solid oak. It is, you're not kicking that door down. However, the door frame is not. So the door doesn't break, but you know what does break is the frame. So any door, when you lock it, you know, a lot of homeowners have a false sense of security when they go in and they lock their deadbolt at night. And if you can see that deadbolt, that's only about 1.5 inches, maybe it's 2 inches if it's a really big deadbolt, but that's going into something called a striker plate. And what a striker plate is, it's the steel plate. You guys have all seen these before, right? And they are basically there to reinforce and catch the lock. Now, the screws that go into a striker plate in most homes are going to be 1 inch, 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, okay? And what you want to change those to, if your house permits, based on what's going on with it, you want to go all the way to a 3 or a 4-inch screw, where now that striker plate is not only screwed into the tiny little door frame here, but it's screwed into the studs of the wall beside it. So this versus this. Now, my side light prevents me from going with a larger screw. So I did change my screws and I went slightly longer because they weren't very large, but I couldn't put a 3.5 or a 4-inch screw in there. So what ends up happening is I have to now reinforce the glass here, but more importantly, what do you know? I've put deadbolts that go into the ground. Now you can do this on your own. It does involve some skill of drilling a ceramic tile or drilling your hardwood and putting a deadbolt that goes into the ground. This is probably the most secure way that you can anchor your door. Canada First sells these products. You know, shameless plug, we would love to do this for you. We train our technicians. Maybe you've seen some of the other videos. We make our technicians train. We make them drill hundreds of holes in ceramic and porcelain and wood before they ever touch a customer's home. But if you want to do this yourself, if you're more of a blue collar guy yourself and you want to do it, go ahead. We recommend you install a striker plate on the ground. You drill the tile with a diamond bit and you put a deadbolt that goes into the ground. Anchor that to the door with the longest screw possible, and now your door is anchored to the ground and it's anchored to your door frame. For added security, add a deadbolt that goes up, and then you put your screws in, long 3-inch screws that go into the wall, into some studs, and guess what? Now you've got a door that's anchored with your deadbolt, it's anchored at the bottom, and it's anchored at the top. And if you're clever, and I'm sure you are, you would move that lock or have that lock inlaid on your door, so if someone breaks your window, they can't reach around and unlock it. Okay? Very simple way of anchoring your doors, guys. The other aspect of doors that most people don't talk about is the hinge screws. Again, if you have the space, a lot of hinge screws are 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Again, you want to go with a long 3-inch or even a 4-inch screw into those hinges, and now you've got a much more secure door. But most importantly, guys, anchor that door to the floor. Get a deadbolt that goes to the floor, get a deadbolt that goes up above the door, and screws that go far through the door frame. Relying on 2 inches of door frame, which is what I had here, by the way. This is what I used to have. Your door is not the stopping point. Your door is only as strong as the door frame. So make sure you get that done. Do that on your own, or you can hire our team to do that. It is a mandatory policy of ours. Anytime we install locks, we always reinforce the door with longer screws. Hopefully you found that helpful. I'm going to show you a couple other things around the house, of things that you can do to make your house secure without spending a lot of money.